This is the one thing that I know a lot of aspiring content creators, business owners, and anyone who kind of wants to improve their life honestly feels and really gets in the way for so many people actually having progress. And that's imposter syndrome. I know that's been a lot of things been talked about, like on short form content, all on Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case is, right? But that's a real thing, in honesty. And I'm pretty sure everyone knows this who's watching this, and I even get it a lot. And especially this year when I'm trying to improve myself, become the husband that I know I want to be at the end of the day, and the man I know I need to be for my future kids and my future life and for what God wants for me at the end of the day. And improving all the habits I know I want in my life, I sometimes feel like I'm an imposter. And it gets in the way. And it kind of pulls me back into the being that old version of myself that I know I don't want to be anymore. Not because it's bad. Some things are, but because it's just not going to work out if I'm still that person and I actually want to achieve my goals, future life goals. Because, in all honesty, that person is a kid and I want to become an adult. That's besides the point. But, like, when it comes to imposter syndrome, something I noticed with that is actually the key thing that's kind of behind it with even me, and I can tell this for a lot of other people as well, is that it's a voice kind of telling us that we're not qualified to do something, to do this. Like, for instance, to me going to the gym, right? Early in the morning. Oh, I'm not qualified to do this. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Haven't really done this before. Why should you try it now? All that jazz. And it's pretty much just the sense of you're trying something new, yet you haven't really gotten the hang of it. And you get the feeling of like, oh, what am I doing right now? Like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing helping these clients, whether it's with your business or whatnot. Am I really qualified to do this? Why am I doing this right now? Like I should probably just quit, right? Because I'm not qualified. And that's the main thing that's making us feel like imposters. It's the idea that we are not qualified to be that person, or we're not qualified to be doing the things that we said that we would be doing. And kind of the main voice behind that, just to put it a name, from what I realize, it's self doubt. Because at the end of the day, you are doubting yourself. That voice is doubting the things that you're doing right now. It's saying that what you are doing right now doesn't match up with how you see yourself. So you should probably stop. And you'll never get to where you want to be at the end of the day. And that's the biggest thing that kind of stops all of us in our tracks. And I'll kind of say this with a story to kind of like emphasize the point. But I know for me, when I was going to the gym for the first time and actually making an effort to get up early, because normally I would get up around 9 a.m. But a few years now into it, I'm normally getting up at 5 every morning. And with that, pretty much when it came to, let's say, every other morning that I was waking up at 5, I'd feel energized. I got enough sleep, I did everything nice, and I felt energized, pumped, and ready to get on with the day. Then, let's say a night goes by and I'm out with some friends. We stay up a little later. Maybe stay up a little late playing video games or something like that, or watching a Netflix series with my parents or whatever the case is. And at that point, I go to bed and I get up at 5 and I feel absolutely tired. And then immediately, the moment the alarm hits, I start negotiating. And I start saying things like, no, you know, I can sleep in today. I didn't really get good enough sleep. Like, this is what I need right now. I need to go back to sleep because I'm too tired. Then there's the other side of my brain that's telling me, wait, hold on. Like, you said that you wanted to stick out with this habit, that this habit was actually important to you. And you even said it to yourself last night that you were going to get up and stay up at 5, no matter how hard it feels at the moment. And this is a two dichotomy of this this side of your head is fighting for you to be the best version of yourself, while the other side is fighting you to not be the best version of yourself. You can think of it as like one voice is really telling me to be disciplined, while the other one is telling me what I need to do is go back on my word. And honestly, like I said before, imposter syndrome is telling you that the things that you are doing doesn't match up with the person that you are right now and who you are becoming at the end of the day. And in all honesty, like it's a mental battle. And the thing is, the thing that gets us past this self doubt is actually because if you think about it like this, when someone's feeling doubtful about something, like if you're doubtful about maybe your relationship or maybe a certain thing that's kind of going on, the thing that's going to fix it is seeing something to restore your confidence in that. And the thing is, when we have self doubt, we're doubting ourselves. We need to build confidence with ourselves, right? And that's not an immediate process, no, but something that I've kind of clicked with my own mind is that when the way I get rid of feeling like an imposter is also recognizing the only way that I'm actually going to become the person I know I want to be at the end of the day is by actually sticking out with the habits, the activities, and the routines that I know the person I want to be actually does, and stick it through it, no matter what the feelings look like, and no matter how much I want to go back to my old self. That's how I actually become that other person. Because you can think of it like this: it's a you're kind of like on a path. I'm like on a path. Like still, I'm on this. I wouldn't say 1.0, but let's say 1.0. I'm on this 1.0 version right now of myself, and then I want to get to this 2.0 version of myself. And that path is difficult. That path requires changes and everything like that. And so I'm still in the middle of this journey, becoming this 2.0 version of myself for this year. And it's tough. And I want to kind of go back. And the imposter syndrome, the self doubt is like, can you really do this? Can you really stick with this before? Like you tried it before, but it doesn't really happen. Do you really know what you're talking about? And all that jazz. The thing is, the only way that we actually become this 2.0 version of ourselves is in the middle of that mental storm and that mental conflict is that it are we actually going to keep going with the things that we set out to do? Because the only way that we actually build self-confidence is if we stick to the things that we said that we would do. Kind of having that relationship with ourselves, just same way like you would have a relationship with somebody else. If they say that they're going to do something and yet they don't do it, your trust in them goes down and you doubt them a lot more often. It's the same thing with you and I. When we don't follow through with the things that we say that we want to do or we are going to do, then we lower our confidence. We lower our trust in ourselves. And to be honest, a lot of last year, my self confidence was very, very low. That's what spurred a lot of problems in my own life with relationships and everything like that because I wasn't confident or didn't trust myself to actually do the things I said I'd do. So then when people did it to me, I kind of let it just slide, even though it was like pretty important stuff and important to me, anyways. And I let it slide because I did it myself. Why should I hold them to that standard? But I know for me, in all honesty, to become the person I know I want to be, I need to stick with the things I know I said I wanted to do. And I should expect that of the people that I know I want to be very close in my life as well. And if they don't match it, that's okay. They want to live their lives the way they want to live their lives. But at the end of the day, like, who's more important? Is it you or the people just around you? Not in a selfish way, not in an ego or pride way that you are the most important person in the universe, that kind of thing. But are your goals actually important to you? Or better way to say it, are your goals more important than your friends or family's opinion? I'm a person with ambition. And whenever I get to people with low sense of ambition or not really doing much, which is a lot of people my age, are my goals more important than what their opinion of me is? Or is it the other way around? Because at that point, then I wouldn't really be living true to myself at the end of the day, right? And same thing with you, whether you're ambitious or whatever the case is. Like, are your goals actually important to you to the point where you actually value yourself? You value your time. And this is just kind of all just ties into imposter syndrome because at the end of the day, If we doubt ourselves so much, the the voice that always says that we're not qualified will always win. And in all honesty, sure, you technically may not be qualified, and every rationalization can tell you that's true. But at the end of the day, the only way you will get qualified is if you stick this out. If you actually stick out with these kind of objectives and habits that you said you wanted to stick to. And in all honesty, the voice of self doubt, the voice of imposter syndrome, it really does lie and exaggerate a lot of the things that you've been doing. Because it could be one simple mistake that you made when going to the gym or whatever the case is. You hurt yourself or whatever, you went too hard, or I'm just drawing something like super simple. And yet, from there, it takes that little mistake that you made and then just blows it out of proportion and saying, like, you can't really do this. You need to stop. You need to go and leave and just give up on yourself. I say this because I felt this. And in all honesty, you need to recognize that that voice is a lie. What it's telling you may sound true, but it's only clouding a part of the truth. Because the truth is, yes, you did make a mistake. Yes, that did suck. And you feel kind of bad, right? That's the objective truth. But then also, the same truth is this: you can then change. Can you learn from it? Do something different than what you did before to make sure you don't have that level of pain or have that level of sadness ever again? Because we are capable of that. And the thing is, what that voice often tells us is like, we make one mistake, so that means that we're not qualified. No, typically and always, success is always made up with a path of mistakes. But the key thing is, the only way we actually move forward is if we learn from each of these mistakes and make adjustments accordingly. When it comes into relationships, when it comes to the gym and everything like that, every different habit, even with videos. Because I can make all these different videos. Let's say they get no views, which isn't my main priority. But let's say if I was optimized for that, right? I would make all these mistakes and then be like, okay, pivot. What does the thumbnail need to look like? What does this need to look like? How should I talk? How do I want to be this? Da, 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 all this different stuff. And if I don't do those adjustments, then guess what? Nothing will get done. In all honesty, things are never always going to go right in the beginning because beginners always make mistakes. And mistakes are always a part of the process. And that's not the exception. And saying all that to say, at the end of the day, I've felt like an imposter for way too long because I've had just so much self doubt in my own self, in my own relationships, in my own habits. And it caught up to me the last part of last year. And this year, I'm making sure that it's different by keeping up these different habits, making sure that I have things to kind of glue things together to make sure I stick to these things, and just doing the hard things and not alone anymore, but actually finding people that can do these hard things with me so that when I'm feeling down, I can actually lean on somebody. When they're feeling down, they can always lean on me. And instead of me always trying to pick, like, honestly, my friends up to try and be this higher standard for themselves when it comes to their health, spirituality, whatever the case is, ambitions, and all that jazz, we can do that for each other rather than just for ourselves. And I think the biggest thing for me in order to become like this person I know I need to be and getting past this imposter syndrome is putting myself around people that I can actually stretch me, push me into a better direction, push my boundaries of thinking. Because I can think I could probably do something, but there's always that one guy, maybe that you work out with or whatever the case is. Because I've worked out with some people, and even my fiance is this person where I'm like, okay, I can't do any more reps. I can't do anymore. I'm not capable of it. But then they're like, no, do one more. Do one more. And I'm like, why? I don't want to do one more. My pecs are hurting. I'm on fire right now and I'm crying. And not literally, but just I don't know why. Even today, just like I had a lot of tears just kind of running down my face when I was lifting. But anyways, and they're like, no, do one more. Do one more. You can do it. You can do it. And I'm like, okay. And then I try, and guess what? It was like the most painful rep possible, but I did it. And at that point, I have a new threshold because I know I could do it. And that means I could push myself even further. And that's the whole thing. that I'm even looking for this year for me and my fiance. It's just like, can we surround ourselves with people that can actually push us forward a lot more, really? And when you have people that are telling you that the things you are doing is actually making a difference, not just in your life, but also making a difference in others people's lives because the example that you actually are, it really quiets down that imposter syndrome voice and the self doubt. Because at that point, like, it's not just you saying it to yourself and not you just having affirmations in the freaking bathroom window or what bathroom window, bathroom mirror or anything like that. It's actually people who you love and who trust who are actually saying this to you like, no, like you're actually making really great progress. And I see it and it inspires me. That's different. That instills a new kind of confidence in somebody and it instills a new kind of confidence in me. And just to say all of that, you are not your mistakes. You are not the self doubt that you have. And the self doubt that you have, you can definitely conquer it by just outwinning it with action and gaining that self confidence in yourself. And I want us all, whoever's watching this, to really start building that self confidence for each and every single one of us. And for this year, even though last year was a wild year, and this year might be kind of crazy too, we can make the best of it. Because at the end of the day, no politician's going to save us. No government's going to save us at the end of the day when it comes to our finances or job or whatever the case is. It all ends up with us. And if we want our lives to actually get better, we need to get better at the end of the day. So, hope this added value to you.